We'll shoot him and then Sadius twice. We melt Nightblood down into bullets and then shoot him. We use the rest of the Nightblood bullets to shoot him.
Can you though? And what would be the side effects? Well, surprisingly, yes. According to a word of Brandon, Nightblood can be melted down, and its melting point would be insane. It's not given, but I think it's safe to assume that its melting point would be much higher than steel's normal point of around 2600 degrees Fahrenheit. In fact, I think it's a safe bet to say that its melting point would be higher than any substance in our world, natural or man-made, meaning Nightblood's melting point would be higher than the current record holder, hafnium carbonitrate, which melts at around 7400 degrees Fahrenheit, which is over 1000 degrees higher than tungsten. Man-made temperatures much higher than that have been recorded, so eventually being able to melt down Nightblood in the Cosmere is not out of the question. The interesting question then is what would happen? To determine that, you have to ask what Nightblood is. Is Nightblood a spren? A cognitive shadow? A lifeless? Awakened object? There's a surprising amount of similarities between Nightblood and Syl in Way of Kings. There's a lack of memory, trouble tracking time, single-mindedness, and, as seen in Wind and Truth, an increase in sapience as their bond with someone grows. However, I wouldn't quite consider Nightblood a spren. Observing the other options, Nightblood being classified as either a returned or awakened object probably makes the most sense. In that case, melting down Nightblood would probably outright destroy it. And what about its investiture? It could just return to the spiritual realm, but there's a more interesting possibility. While Nightblood has less investiture than the Stormfather, it's considered to be the most powerful non-shardic being in the Cosmere. This probably isn't counting the Dawn Shards as they lack sentience, and aside from that, the holders of Dawn Shards are restricted in what they can do. So, there would be a lot of investiture just hanging around after Nightblood's melted down. In all likelihood, this large lump of investiture could turn into a spren that's simultaneously terrifying and whimsical. Honestly, I picture it as sort of like a bloodthirsty Syl.